It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I had the privilege of interviewing the Dakota College Bottineau's head women's ice hockey coach, Coach Reed Loucks. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college women's ice hockey?
Yeah, it actually, I've been in hockey since I was 4 years old, growing up in Canada. So it was always going to be a part of my life, and I always wanted it to be. So really, any route that I could have found to get myself into the coaching world, because when I was a teenager, was probably when I realized not going to be playing forever. So I got to find some other paths, and the coaching one was definitely the easiest way to get staying in the game, and that's how I got here.
What was that experience like for you going to Wardriff and getting to play collegiate ice hockey?
Yeah, so Waldorf was actually a fairly new program when I was going to school. So when I graduated high school, a lot of athletes in Canada don't really know that the ACHA is down here, and that there's that many teams across the entire country. There's a ton of opportunities. So when I was graduated high school, I came to school here at Dakota College of Bottineau, and I played for the men's hockey team for 2 years, and then the head coach here, Travis Rybczynski, helped me move on to Waldorf University down in Iowa, and I think they were only a school for 4 or 5 years before I uh, signed to go play with the team there. And yeah, I mean it's a small town there in Forest City, Iowa. Great small school, and that's kind of how I grew up, in a small town, small school. So that transition from my hometown in Melita, Manitoba, to Bottineau, North Dakota, to Forest City, Iowa, was pretty easy with them all being small town.
What was that experience like for you representing Boston as a collegiate athlete and then also Wardriff?
Yeah, I mean it was awesome. I mean, like, there's a saying out there, right? Only 7% of high school student or athletes become college athletes. So just to be considered as a number for that was a privilege on its own. And I've always loved every team that I've played for. I always work my hardest, and just, you want to represent the team that you're wearing on the front, and not just the name on the back. So just having the privilege to be a college athlete, and a successful one at that was great.
How was that experience like for you getting to put on that jersey and representing the name on the front?
You definitely appreciate it a lot more after you're done, than when you do in the moment. So if you're in that moment right now, definitely soak it in and enjoy it. It's a privilege to be able to wear those colors, no matter what school you're playing for, what team it is, or where you are. It's being able to wear a jersey, and being on a team with some of your best friends that you'll have for the rest of your life is it's a great privilege.
During your collegiate time, what were some of your biggest accomplishments on the ice?
I definitely think, because I played 5 years down here in the ACHA, between my two in Bottineau and my three down at Waldorf. So playing over 100 college games was definitely an accomplishment. And then my first year down at Waldorf, we actually won our conference. We got to host it that year, the conference tournament, and we won it at home. So being able to do that, having all our friends and family down watching, and then just enjoying that experience in our home locker room, our home rink, in our hometown with the boys was a great experience.
For you, how was that transition like going from being a college athlete to getting into coaching on the college level?
It's definitely a big eye opener. I during my first year of coaching, I actually Travis Rybczynski, the men's coach, is still coaching here. So being able to work side by side with him, and learning a lot from him, and my assistant coach at that time, Corey Gorder, you get to learn a lot. I actually went up to those two and called my old coach from Waldorf, and just kind of thanked them and told them like, hey, it's I finally see what you guys all had to go through, and outside of the coaching world, outside of the dressing room with managing road trips and hotels and meals and just making sure everyone's getting the job done and getting safe, and all the practice plans and just everything that comes with the title of coaching. It was pretty eye opening, making that transition from a player to a coach.
What was that experience like for you first starting out as an assistant coach?
Actually, I started here as the head coach right away. So I wasn't an assistant coach. I helped out coaching, just some minor hockey and stuff when I was younger. So helping those coaches and stuff was kind of how I learned, the approach of coaching and practice plans and things like that. But yeah, coming here to Bottineau, I was hired as the head coach right away, and I had the team by myself as a lone coach for the first season. That was difficult. But then my second year as a coach, one of my players actually that played for me, Ashley Blue, who is still currently my assistant coach. She's born and raised in Bottineau. She played hockey at Minot State University, women's Division One, Division Two at that time, I think. And then yeah, she's been with me for the last few years, and having her by my side has been a godsend for sure. Having the female presence around the female team and everything, but just her knowledge and expertise in the hockey world alone, and being a local community member helps out a lot too. So I wouldn't be able to do it without her, but yeah, doing the head coach thing by yourself for a whole year was pretty tricky.
How was that experience like for you going from playing ice hockey with men to getting into coaching on the women's side?
Not as honestly, not as different as I thought. You kind of think, oh well, a women's team is how different is it going to be from the men's team? How different is the locker room going to be? The bus trips, the hotels. Um, it's not that much different. I think a hockey player is the same in their blood through and through, whether you're male or female.
What was that feeling like getting announced to become the head coach for the first time?
It was amazing. I mean, obviously, it was kind of a crazy time in the world. It was right at the beginning of COVID. There, I was actually teaching. I was a teacher up in Oxbow, Saskatchewan, for 2 years, and our school. I was let go. I was a PE teacher there, and when we had COVID and everyone had to go home, I was let go because we weren't going to be able to teach PE through Zoom. So I was let go, and I happened to just see that they were getting a team down here for the women's program, and I had reached out to Corey Gorder and Travis Rybczynski down here, and I was just like, "Hey, congratulations! I see the school's finally getting a women's team. That's going to be awesome. If you guys need any help, with recruiting and stuff up north here, I'm in a great area. I can help you out." And Corey reached back out to me, and he was the athletic director at that time, and he said, "Well, we're actually looking for a head coach." He said, "Would you be interested, or do you know anyone that's interested?" And sure enough, I answered right away, and I said, "Well, this is kind of funny because I just got laid off, so I'm definitely interested." And yeah, a few weeks went by. We were talking through the grapevine, and I went through the interview process, and finally heard back that I was a lone candidate, and they offered me the position. And I think the week that I accepted the job here, the borders were already closed, so you couldn't travel back and forth. So I packed up my stuff and moved south of the border to Bottineau, North Dakota.
What was that feeling like getting known that you were going to become the next head coach?
It was exciting, but at the same time, I was pretty nervous. Our counterpart here, the men's program, has been very successful for years. So just trying, to play up to their standards was definitely going to be tough. But it's also a new program at the same time, so you got to start somewhere. And they did the hiring committee and the athletic director, coaches, everyone who was involved here, the scouts that put together the first roster before I was hired, did a great job. We had some great players, some great kids coming through the program, and it put us in the right direction to be as successful as we are today.
For you, what was that feeling like being the inaugural coach and getting it started?
It was awesome. I mean, definitely had a lot to do with me going to school here and being an alumni. I wanted to prove that we could do it and that I could do it myself. And it was just a great feeling, kind of like, here's my calling, like things have paid off, all that time, and the hard work that you put in, focus, it paid off, and here's to the next chapter kind of thing. So I was definitely excited, overwhelmed, but excited to say the least.
As you mentioned that, what is that feeling like getting to step back onto that ice that you played in on, but now on the women's side?
It feels amazing. For anyone who's ever been to Bottineau, North Dakota, and you've played in the Lumber Dome, it's cold. So I definitely didn't miss those early mornings, where you go out on the ice and it's 40 below outside and it matches the temperature inside. But we have one of the best ice surfaces around, I think. With us having an older rink, yes, it gets cold, but it's a piece of history in this town, and it's been a staple for our college here for many years. So stepping out on that ice now as a coach just brought back a lot of memories, and it makes, just kind of gives you a little more drive and a little more edge to just push that extra bit.
How is that feeling like getting your first win as a first time head coach?
Oh, it was awesome. I remember it still to this day. Just having that excitement, as a first win in a program, and when I seen our team hit the ice, I knew there was going to be many more wins to come after that first one. So it was awesome.
What does a typical game day look like for you as a coach versus for your players?
I guess it depends if we're home or on the road. If we're home, it's most of the times we're playing on Saturdays and Sundays. If we have the odd Friday game, our players they'll wake up, go to class. We like to dress up on our game days, so our players will wear something really nice. Because you gotta look good to feel good to play good. So we do that at home. They go have a team meal at lunch together, and then head to the rink a couple hours early. They go do their stretching and team dynamic warm up, tape their sticks, listen to music, whatever superstition they have to do. They have lots of time to do it. Our captains have keys to the locker room, so they can go as early as they want. And then as a coach, for me, I do the game day management too, myself and my assistant Ashley. So we're kind of running around during the day, getting the paperwork ready for the officials, making sure the camera's working for the game film, making sure our clock workers are there, our game sheets are set up, our pucks are out, things are ready for warm up, stuff like that. And then usually just peel right into warm ups and then game time after that.
What are some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far for Dakota College?
So with us, we started out our first year. They didn't have a national tournament due to COVID. But I know for a fact with our record and the team we had, we would have been there. The second year, we made it to the national tournament again and made it to the championship game and lost to our rival here just north of the border, Assiniboine Community College up in Brandon, Manitoba. We're only about an hour and a half apart from each other, and we were down in St. Louis, Missouri, playing in the national championship game. And a lot of players on both of those teams grew up playing against each other, with each other, just because they're all from local areas. It was that's just some big accomplishments. Every year we've been eligible to go, we've made it to the national tournament. We've been a top 4 team in the entire country every single year. Just last year, in our 4th season, we hit over 50 wins as a program. And we're usually only playing about 20 to 25 games per year. We've hit a few couple milestones already that are pretty big for us, and we just got a couple left. We'd love to get.
As a head coach, can you talk about the culture that you've built for the program?
Just one thing that we really strive on here is just being yourself, bringing a good hard working mentality to the team. That we're in a blue collar kind of town, farming community, hard work. It's all around us. The recruits that we bring in, that's what we kind of look for, is someone who was raised right and respectful and eager to learn and coachable. And at the same time, we're looking for that skill, and we're looking for the good players that are going to help us get to the next level. And it's just the culture that we've created here is a winning culture, but a comfortable culture where you can be yourself, you can have fun, and we like to keep things loose. But at the same time, when it's time to get down to business, we do it and we take care of it.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
So like I said, Assiniboine Community College up in Brandon, Manitoba. We've got Lake Region here in Devils Lake, North Dakota. NDSU down in Fargo, Duluth, Minnesota, Iowa State, Nebraska, Lincoln, Wisconsin, Madison. So there's lots of teams that we're able to play. It just kind of depends on our schedule and budget on where we're going to travel or who we can get to come up here to the north and play.
What is that like getting to see those teams like Dakota State at home and face them at home versus going to Adrian College and going away?
Yeah, so I mean we haven't been to Adrian yet on the road. We've just ran into them at the national tournament a couple times, but that's a hockey school through and through. We'd love to get out there and just see that atmosphere. And a lot of these bigger schools, the big school names that we get to go and see and play. It's kind of eye opening, but it's a great experience for our players at the same time because they get to see what it's like to play in these big rinks. They get to see what a school population of 50,000 looks like compared to the 150 students we have on campus here. And yeah, it's a great experience for them to go and see these big schools. And as long as we keep being successful, it's also a great recruiting tool for our players to be able to move on to these larger universities down the road.
What is that home game atmosphere like when these teams come to your home rink?
Oh, any home game we have, the Lumber Dome that's the place to be. It's packed. Student sections right there along the glass. It's a very small rink, so even a very little amount of fans can make it feel like it's packed, and you can hear everything in there. It's cold. We like when those big city teams that are used to playing in those really nice rinks come and play us here in our old pond of a rink because it's really cold for them and it's a little bit smaller. So it's our little niche, I guess you could say.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play collegiate women's ice hockey?
Oh, so recruiting, we go all over the map. We go up north to tournaments. I'll travel myself. My assistant Ashley, she goes and watches games too in person. Anything that we can see in person, is always best because the recruits you can get a lot more out of them from seeing them in person than what you would a highlight film or something like that. But we like to talk to them on the phone. We'll start by sending emails, whatever we need to do to get that contact. And then we like to have that conversation in person. If we can get them down here for a school tour, we like that too. But just getting to know them a little more outside of the hockey world, kind of see what type of person they are. And then just with the recruiting process from there, we try to get them to come down here, whatever we can do. Our school and our department takes very good care of our athletes here. Our program here at Bottineau is a fully funded program, so our players don't have to pay big amounts to play. We're sponsored by Adidas, so a lot of our stuff is all Adidas. We just got brand new game jerseys this year that are Adidas, clothing, everything you can imagine. So it's hard to get players to come to a small town and a small school like this, but those little perks definitely help. And with our recent success in the last few years, that definitely helps too.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those prospective student athletes fall in love with the ice rink and the campus?
Oh, it's amazing. You see these players coming through and I haven't been doing it that long myself, just going into my 5th season, but I recently just seen a couple players now become teachers. They got their own classroom, ran into Addie Jelleberg, local girl from Bottineau here. Shout out Addie. She's got her own little classroom set up now. So being able to see these players come through as student athletes, and struggle on the grind and stuff like that. And now all of a sudden you see them being adults, right? And they're starting their own career, or they're trying to move on to another school to follow hockey, or doing little coaching jobs here and there. It's definitely a blessing when you get to see the players stay in love with the game after they've been through your program.
For you as a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that green Dakota College uniform for the first time?
Oh, it's awesome. Myself as a player, when we were here, you want to bleed green, like DCB does, and just seeing them put on the uniform and have fun, with smiles on their face and scoring goals, winning games, having fun in the weight room together, like the little moments like that when they're putting in hard work, but they still smiling ear to ear. That's the best.
What is that like getting to see them achieve those big milestones in their careers, like first hat tricks, first goals?
Yeah, it's awesome. The first goal is definitely a big one that we have a little tradition here. You know, we try and collect the puck, just like many teams, many players do. But anytime we got a first college goal, we get those players that puck and wrap a little tape around it, write their name on it, write their first goal, who we were playing, just to kind of a little keepsake for them, you know. And that started way back, well, when I got my first goal here at Bottineau, 12 some years ago, 13 years ago. But it's a tradition that I'd like to keep going, and hopefully they keep those pucks on their wall somewhere.
What is it like as a head coach seeing them put on that uniform for the last time?
It's definitely sad. We try to line it up, and hopefully our schedule sticks through that we can have our senior night on a special night for them. And our team, we have a great photographer here, Leslie Ostrom. She puts together a great montage for every one of our seniors, so we're able to hand them a nice picture frame with some action shots and the team photo from the last couple years and stuff as a player here. So being able to give them that, and we try to do it way in advance so that they can plan for their families to come down and enjoy that moment too with them. Every last game of the year, you know, it's the Zamboni doesn't come out for a while because the players are just enjoying it and soaking it in.
Of course, what is that like getting to see them going into coaching after their playing career?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, when you have players reaching out to you, asking you for drills and stuff, or hey, what was this drill we did the one time, or you know, they're asking to be a reference or something like that. But it's definitely joyful being able to see them follow the game that they love.
What are some of your biggest accomplishments so far as a head coach?
Definitely the over the 50 wins was a big one for myself. One that I really loved and enjoyed was because as a player, I never had the opportunity to go to the national tournament. We were always knocked out of the regional tournament before we were able to go. So experiencing that national tournament as a player would have been amazing. As a coach, it was just as special. And that, yeah, just being able to be as successful as we have been has just been an amazing accomplishment for this program, myself and all the players that have helped do that.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Moving forward, we definitely want to get a national championship under our belt. We're close. We've been knocking on the door a few times. I think it's coming one of these years. If it's not this year, it'll be soon. I promise you that. But that's one that we're striving for. We've set up our standard. You know, we've been in the national tournament every year. We want to go every year. We want to be the best and compete against the best. So that's what we're looking forward to is hoisting that cup one year.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college women's ice hockey?
Just take it day by day. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be crazy, but those moments are the best. You know, there's going to be a time when you miss it, and it'll come sooner than you think. So soak it in, take it day by day, and just smile. Right, sun's going to come up the next day. Just enjoy it.
What advice would you have those juniors transitioning into their senior year and leading the program?
Just keep a good head on your shoulders, and remember what you were like as a freshman coming into a school. Because if you're going to be that senior and that sophomore, that junior, help those freshmen out. Remember the questions you had and the concerns you had as a freshman, and just, you know, be that shoulder, be that voice, just be there for support, and at the same time be a leader. You know, you keep that good head on your shoulders, and be respectful and coachable, and yeah.
What advice would you have those female coaches out there looking to get started into coaching after their playing career?
Oh, if you need any help, reach out. It's definitely an ongoing, difficult process. But there's tons of opportunities out there, and don't pass up on it. You know, it's always better to know than wonder. So even if you apply and they say no, or you don't get that interview, who cares? Apply for the next one. At least you know.
What advice would you have those people looking to coach at their alma mater?
Oh, that's a good one. Enjoy it. I mean, and take it day by day. Coming back here, you see all the little changes around the school, around the town. There, you might run into some familiar faces, whether that be professors, community members, or anything. But just enjoy it. They're just as happy to see you back as you are to be back. So enjoy the moment.
What advice would you give those head coaches out there looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Definitely take your time. It's, our first year, we only played about 12, 15 games. And now we're up to about 26 games per season, and hopefully soon we'll be up to 30. So the little things will come in time. Just keep building, and never steer away from what you want the program to be. Whatever kind of culture you want to create there, stick to your guns. Whether that helps you win or lose, there's going to be times where you might have to make some difficult decisions, but the difficult decisions are usually the right ones. So
that's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program?
Well, social media, geez, I couldn't even tell you what my social media handles are, but follow Dakota College at Bottineau Women's Hockey, Lumberjacks Women's Hockey on Twitter. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're all over it. So follow us. We try to post as much as we can. But yeah, we'll start posting here right away when the players get in and we hit dry land training hard. So look for us on some social media and give us a follow. It'll be worth it.
Thank you again, Coach Reed, for your interview, and best luck in your future at Dakota Bottineau.
Thank you very much, Brandon. I appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at @talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Reed, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.